Quadcast, what 20 years of disability has taught me. We help people overcome adversity and find freedom through writing. Questions, controversy newspaper. Just recently, a journalist friend messaged wanting to ask me some questions about the NDIS, National Disability Insurance Scheme. Now, this is an initiative that we have here in Australia for persons living with a disability, a new system I think about 5 years old now. And I think its original intention was to put power and choice back into the hands of the person with a disability and to create a more equitable funding system, or in short, to create a system whereby the services and funds are reaching the people and places that really need them. Sounds great! However, in reality, there has been a few flaws and teething problems, and to be honest, I don't know heaps about it, but from what I've heard, some people get a lot and others very little, even if they need lots. And this mostly comes down to the competence of their NDIS planner, sadly, or an individual's ability to advocate for themselves, of which I'm very lucky I have both. To me, it actually seems like a complex system that has to be navigated in a very specific way, and if not, you can very easy blow your services for a whole year. So, I am very privileged and the NDIS has treated me extremely well, but I also live deep in the disability game and my needs are indisputable. Anyhow, to my questions, can you tell me why the NDIS has been so good for you? Well, before NDIS, I had absolutely bugger all supports and funding. All that I had was my accommodation covered and the staffing within, and 2.5 hours each of recreation, or hours to access the community freely. So, for the rest of the time, I was chained to my accommodation. I can't even begin to tell you how many hours and days I spent alone in the lounge room, or to put it another way, my physiological and health needs were being met, just not any mental or emotional needs. It was like I was a prisoner in a way. Also, I was never one of the lucky ones who had a traffic accident package, or even the support from a diagnosis-related organization, such as the MND Foundation. I completely fell through the cracks and received the bare minimum. My prior supports basically funded survival, whereas now I have a certain amount of freedom, choice, and self-actualization. I mean, it's still not great or perfect, only there is no doubt that I feel, can act, and am treated much more like a human being these days. How has it improved your quality of life? I now have a certain amount of independence and autonomy that I didn't have before. Also, sure, I have to plan my days extensively around staff, but at least I'm getting out now and can fulfill some of my dreams, aspirations, and goals. Before the NDIS, there was absolutely no way fulfilling these would have been possible. So, yes, the system might not be working perfectly, it does have flaws, but overall, I definitely feel that there is a marked improvement for me, especially in regards to life quality. My life is no longer just about survival, rather living. What can you do now? I'm attending university. I involve myself in my vocation, attend basketball games, go to the movies, catch up with friends. I even go for drives in my van to visit personally undiscovered parts of Melbourne. And I'm even looking into a holiday to Sydney. Plus, for the first time in 18 years, there is a glimmer of hope and the potential to move home, or into my own home, rather than living in an institution and a workplace. Previously, on 2.5 hours of recreation each week. Simple math tells me that most of this, if not all, would have been impossible. What happened before, and how was life before NDIS? I sat around a lot, daydreamed a lot, somehow managed to do some stuff, however, that was mostly through goodwill. Geez, I felt like I owed half of Melbourne favors. And it was always hard to plan things as I never really knew if I had somebody to take me. I was a total prisoner to my disability, whereas I'm now out on parole. What is your disability and how does that manifest? As a result of a neurological infection, I am a quadriplegic, full-body flaccid, who is also 24/7 ventilator dependent, vs tracheostomy. Plus, I have speech and communication issues, and all nutrition hydration is via a feeding tube. So beyond brain damage, basically think of the worst case scenario. And how this manifests, I am completely dependent on somebody else to perform every single function of daily living and to ensure my safety. Also, I am extremely vulnerable and live by and in systems, such as the NDIS. I don't recommend it, but this is what I have to deal with. This is my life.